Dear students, today we shall take a class on figures of speech. Figures of speech and parts of speech are two main parts of the speech. There are 10 types of parts of speech like noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition and conjunction. As the parts of speech are highly necessary for the general construction of a sentence in English, similarly, figures of speech are necessary to make the speech more lucid, impressive and beautiful. Figures of speech are many kinds. Today we shall discuss about some commonly used and most important figures of speech. Figures of speech means the use of ornamental words. Ornamental words are generally used to make the speech more lucid, impressive and beautiful. When a girl puts on or wears ornaments, she looks more beautiful. Ornaments generally add beauty to the natural physical appearance of the girls. Similarly, figures are just like ornamental words. They add more beauty, lucider, more beauty to the speech. So, ornamental words are used to make the speech more beautiful. Then come to the first figure of speech, simile. Simile and metaphor. Simile and metaphor. What is a simile and metaphor? Both are, simile is an indirect comparison between two dissimilar things. But a metaphor is a direct comparison between two dissimilar things. Okay, look at the blackboard. Simile, an indirect comparison between two dissimilar things. But a metaphor, a direct comparison between two dissimilar things. Then come to the next step. Like, as and so are used in simile. But like, as and so are not used in a metaphor. In simile, the indirect comparison between two dissimilar things takes place using like, as and so. In simile, like, as and so are used when two dissimilar things are compared. But in metaphor, like, as and so are not used. Let's take an example to understand better. The soldier, try to understand, the soldier fought bravely in the battlefield. The soldier fought bravely in the battlefield. In the second sentence, the soldier fought bravely like a lion in the battlefield. In the third sentence, the soldier was a lion. The soldier was a lion in the battlefield. Let's discuss about the difference of these three sentences. In the first sentence, it is written that the soldier fought bravely in the battlefield. साहसर सहित सैनिकटी रणांगन युद्ध कला. In the second sentence, the soldier fought bravely like a lion in the battlefield. Like a lion in the battlefield. Here there is an indirect comparison between the soldier and a lion. Here the soldier is indirectly compared with a lion. The soldier fought bravely like a lion. This is called a simile. But in the third sentence, the soldier was a lion in the battlefield. That means here is a direct comparison between the soldier and a lion. The soldier was a lion in the battlefield. There is no use of like in this sentence. So it is called a metaphor. There is a direct comparison in the third sentence. There is an indirect comparison in the second sentence. And there is the use of use like is used in this sentence. But there is no use of like in the third sentence. So it is called a metaphor and second sentence is called a simile. Then come to the another example. Look at the example. He is a hard working farmer. In second sentence, he works hard like an ox in his field. In the third sentence, he is an ox in his field. Leave the first sentence, come to the second sentence. He works hard like an ox in his field. Here he works hard like an ox. Here there is an indirect comparison between the ox and he. He means a particular farmer. Both are dissimilar. And there is the use of or like is used in this sentence. So it is called a simile. But in the third sentence, there is a direct comparison between he means the farmer and the ox. He is an ox in his field. So it is called a metaphor. Okay, let's go to another example to clear our doubts. He walks slowly. In second sentence, he walks slowly. He walks slowly like a tortoise. He walks slowly like a tortoise. In third sentence, he is a tortoise. Look at the second sentence. He walks slowly like a tortoise. Means he walks slowly as a tortoise. So here is an indirect comparison between he and a tortoise. And like is also used here. So this is called simile. But in the third sentence, he tortoise, he is a tortoise. Here is a direct comparison between he and the tortoise. It is called metaphor. Clear? Then come to the next figure of speech, personification. Personification. What is personification? Personification means qualities of living beings are found in non-living things or objects. When qualities and activities of living things are found in non-living things or objects, we call it personification. Let's take an example to clear our doubts. The sun is playing. The sun is playing hide and seek. The sun is playing hide and seek with the clouds. The sun is playing hide and seek with the clouds. Hide and seek is the name of a game. It is played by the human beings. Little children generally play hide and seek. But here the activities of children or human beings are found in the sun and the clouds. Here it is said that the sun is playing hide and seek with the clouds. The sun and the clouds cannot play hide and seek. Only human beings play this game. So here activities of living beings, humans, are found in the sun and the clouds. So it is called personification. Then come to another example. The flowers were fluttering and dancing. The flowers were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Look at the example. The flowers were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Here fluttering means moving from side to side. The flowers were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Generally flowers cannot dance. Human beings dance. But here the activities, the qualities of human beings are found in the flowers. The flowers were dancing. They can't dance, but it is stated that the flowers were dancing. Because here human quality is found in the flowers. So it is called a personification. Let's come to take another example. The waves we are dancing inside the lake. It means the waves we are dancing inside the lake. The waves in the lake, the waves inside the lake looked like dancing to the poet. Here waves cannot dance, but the poet says the waves were dancing. Here the waves were dancing means dancing human quality. Human beings can dance, but here it is stated that waves were dancing. So it is called a personification because a human activity or quality is found here. Okay, are you all clear about it? Then come to the next figure of speech, hyperbole. Hyperbole. What is an hyper? What is a hyperbole? Hyperbole means hyper means high-fi bole. It is an extremely exaggeration. It is an extreme exaggeration. Hyperbole means describe something in an exaggerated way. Describe something in an exaggerated way. So to describe something in an exaggerated way is called a hyperbole. To describe the appearance or the quality or activity of anything or being exaggeratedly. It is an extreme exaggeration. Let's take an example. I have not seen him for a long time. We can say it in an exaggerated way by saying, I have not seen him for ages. I haven't seen him for ages. Here for ages, it is called a hyperbole. It is called a hyperbole. Then take another example. He ran like a deer. He ran like a deer. It means he ran faster than a deer. Here the running of the particular person is described in an exaggerated way that he ran faster than a deer. Next come to another example. He was very tired. He was very tired. The hyperbole is he was so tired. he was so tired that he could not, he was so tired that he could not sleep or walk. His tiredness is described in an exaggerated way, that he was so tired that he could not sleep or walk. Here the tiredness of the particular person is described in an exaggerated way, so it is called a hyperbole. Okay, then come to another figure of speech, oxymoron. Oxymoron. What do you mean oxymoron? Oxymoron means opposite words. Oxymoron means opposite words. Okay, opposite words, when two opposite words are used side by side in a sentence, it is called oxymoron. Two opposite words are used side by side in a sentence. Look at the example. Hari was found missing. Hari was found missing in the fair. Hari was found missing in the fair. Here found, missing are opposite to each other. Finding is the opposite word of missing. Here the two opposite words found and missing are used in the same sentence, so found missing, it is called oxymoron. Okay, then come to another example. Give me the original copy of your certificate. Look at the example. Give me the original copy of your certificate. Here original copy. Original copy. Copy means make a copy of the certificate. Here copy refers to Xerox copy. Xerox copy means duplicate. So copy means duplicate. Original copy means duplicate. Original and duplicate. Both are two opposite words used in this sentence, so it is called oxymoron. Then come to another example. She is a pretty ugly girl. She is a pretty ugly girl. Here pretty, ugly. She is a pretty ugly girl. Both pretty means beautiful, ugly means odd. Pretty and ugly, both opposite words are used in the same sentence, so it is called oxymoron. Are you all clear about the oxymoron? Then come to next figure of speech, alliteration. The next figure of speech, alliteration. What is an alliteration? Alliteration means the sound produced or pronounced the sound pronounced equally at the beginning of a series of words in a sentence. Okay, then alliteration means the sound pronounced equally at the beginning of a series of words. If the same sound of a series of words is produced in a sentence, we call it alliteration. Like sa, ka. Look at the example to clear your doubts. Look at the word coca cola, ka, American, airbase, a. Look at the next example, C cells, SELLS, SEASHELLS are two different things. C cells, C cells. Tell here sa. So as the same sound is produced at the beginning of a series of words in this sentence, so it is called alliteration. Then come to another example, canes, kids, kept watching TV. Canes, kids, kept watching TV. Ka. K. As the sound of these three words is produced or is pronounced the same, so it is called alliteration. Okay. Then come to the next figure of speech. We call it pawn. Pawn means to describe something in a humorous way. To describe something in a humorous way. Okay, pawn means to describe something in a humorous way. Here pawn means fun. It is just a kind of a joke. To describe something in a humorous way or funny way. It also means one word, one thing, one word having two meanings. Or a single word having double meanings in a sentence is called a pawn. If one word describes two meanings or a single word having double meanings in the sentence, it is called a pawn. Look at the example. The fishes live in school. Look at the sentence. What a funny description it is. The fishes live in a school. Here a school, it is called a pond because it is a funny word. School means the place where the students read. It is an institution of reading. School, one meaning. Another meaning is the group of fishes is called a school. School means group of fishes. As a group of lions called a pride, group of fishes called a school. It has a dual meaning word is called a pond. School is a place of learning, but a school means a group of fishes. As this word has a single word having a double meaning, so it is called a pond. Then come to another example. Suppose Rama has finished. Rama has finished his homework. Rama has finished his homework. Look at this particular word, homework. Homework means the work generally done at home is called homework. Sweeping the floor, washing clothes, or prepare food, bringing vegetables from the marketplace, or do any household chore. The work done at home is called homework. It is one meaning. The another meaning is the task given by the teacher to do at home. The task given by a teacher to do at home is called homework. As this word has double meaning, so it is called pond. Similarly, if you say the lions live in pride, the lions live in pride. Look at this particular word of pride. Its first meaning is boast, boastfulness, garba. The another meaning, pride means group of lion, group of lions. It has two meaning. The first meaning is boast, feel boast of something. Another meaning is group of lions are called pride. As this word has a double meaning, single word having a double meaning, so it is called a pond. Okay. Dear students, the next figure of speech is metonym. Metonym, meta means change and anoma means a name. So metonym means the change of a name. Then what is metonym? A person or thing known by other name is called a metonym. Then let's take some examples to clear our doubts. We should respect the chair. We should respect the chair. Here the chair means a person who is in the chair. A chair person. Here a chair person may refer to the head of the institution, the president, the chief, the invited chief guest, or anybody of high rank. Then come to the next example. The grey hairs should be respected. Here the grey hairs refers to the older people. Here grey hairs means the aged persons, the older people should be respected properly in the society. Then I am fond of a bottle. Here a bottle means it is known by liquor or wine. I am fond of a bottle means I am fond of drinking wine or liquor. Next, the last example, the invalid C are wiser than the valids. Here invalid C means C. The aged persons or the older people are wiser than the valids means C. The young men, the older men are wiser than the young men, because they have gone through many obstacles in their life and they have got more experience in their practical life. So the older people are wiser than the young men. Here the older people are known by invalids and the young men are known by valids. In this sentence, the grey hairs are known by, the aged persons are known by grey hairs. Here chair refers to the particular person who is in the chair. Okay, we shall discuss about the next important figures of speech in our next period. Thank you all.